Here we are at day 4, and fittingly, today in this account I have taken 4 trades. So let's jump right to it. So all my trades today take place in gold. I had been staring at the 1-hour chart for so long that I neglected the 30-minute chart. When I noticed the 30-minute chart had tested the cloud on the lower band, I decided I would quickly change to the 30-minute and enter a trade.
Order filled.
Price pretty quickly goes in the direction that I'm hoping for, and I find myself in a situation like yesterday where I'm really hoping price actually comes down so I can enter in for another contract at a better position. I initially set my stop loss at the most recent level of resistance and pretty quickly decide that that stop loss is not wide enough and I should try and set it below that thick green cloud directly to the left. I know this seems like a lot of money to risk. However, you'll see why it is so important to set really wide stop losses when trading this strategy. And honestly, if I were to lose this trade, it would be about $1,500 from where it is now, and that would leave me with $153,000, about $3,000 to work with. That's more than enough for me to risk and make successful trades in the future. I set my profit target at the most recent high of the day because in recent trades that I've been in, I was getting out too early and I was seeing price rip. Gold has been on a tear to the upside recently, and I thought that there was a really good chance that we would match those recent highs of the day. I see price hit this support and resistance level, and I'm really hoping that it will take off to the upside and break through this support and resistance level. The problem is that it doesn't, and it starts making its way further and further back down to the cloud. Although I know I should be patient, what I end up deciding to do is place my stop in a position of profit. I really don't want to see a lose on this trade. I'm really happy with my 100% winning trade rate, so I decide that I'm going to take profit on this trade one way or another. Eventually it starts to seem like price is going to retest the cloud, so I end up just closing this trade altogether.
Order filled.
I end that trade with $376.76 in profit and wait for the price to retest the cloud and enter into the next trade. Here I am again, waiting for price to test the upper band of this cloud.
Order filled.
And I buy one contract at a pretty solid entry, maybe slightly too soon. However, I'm happy with this entry. I'm waiting to see if price will test the lower band of the cloud, and if it does, I'll buy in for another contract.
Order filled.
Not exactly the lowest part of the cloud, but still a pretty good entry point, and I'm happy with where I entered in for 2 contracts. I set my stop pretty wide at that level of support that risks about $1,500. However, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking maybe this stop really isn't wide enough. I then decide that I'm gonna place one more buy contract order at that lowest level of support before my stop loss. As price continues to go down, I'm starting to get more and more worried about this trade.
Order filled.
Now I'm in for 3 contracts, and I move my stop even wider because I do feel like this thing has a lot of power, but still can rip back to the upside because this trend has been so powerful in gold lately. Now I'm risking over $2,500, and price continues to move down and seems to make a push very close to where I had originally set my stop loss. But I remain patient and wait to see what happens. Price does come back to above my new entry point now that I have bought into 2 more contracts in a losing position. I really love where my entry point is here because it's at the very bottom of the cloud now, even though we started at the top of the cloud. And I'm really nervous, waiting to see if price is going to end up above or below the cloud. Price starts moving above the cloud and I am thrilled. I have my profit target at the highest point of where I can see the cloud because I feel like that's a good area where price might test. It would also give me massive profit if I reached that profit target, and I'd be very close to finishing this combine. At its highest point in this trade, I was up to $1,600 in unrealized profit. However, I do start to see price come down a bit, and I really don't want to lose those gains, so I go ahead and close out of the position.
Order filled.
That trade ended up with a profit of $910.28. Now this next trade, I have to admit, is pretty stupid. I was feeling like I had gotten out of that last trade too early, and I rushed into a next one not following my rules.
Order filled.
I immediately realized that was a really dumb trade to enter in, and I'm really worried about my entry point and taking a loss on this trade. Luckily, price has gone in my favor, and I decide to just close out with a small but decent profit.
Order filled.
I got out of the trade with a profit of $76.76, bringing my total to the day to $1,363.80. From here, let's move to our 4th and final trade. Yet again, I'm waiting for price to test the cloud, and it happens for me to enter my 4th and final trade.
Order filled.
I get in at a pretty solid entry point, and I try not to risk too much because I don't want to end the day with less than $1,000, so I keep my stop loss pretty tight here. I set my profit target just underneath the horizontal line of the bottom end of the cloud if we shifted to the right. This has been a pretty clear resistance level since I started trading this account for the day. This profit target would give me $670, leaving me with just over $2,000 for the entire trading day on this account. I zoom in to watch the price as it continues to move up, and we get to a point where we're about 10 to 15 ticks away. I start thinking maybe I can close out the account, but I really should just be patient and hope that price doesn't go down from here. Price begins to come back up. I'm watching the price go higher and higher on the DOM, and really just crossing my fingers that will eventually hit my profit target.
Order filled.
Fourth and final trade finishes for a total of $666.76 and a grand total of $2,030.56 for the day. At this point, I want to lock in my profits and call it a day. Taking a look at our statistics, we are at an account total of $6,502. We still have a 100% trade win rate. Our average win is $433. And here we can see our total of each day. Now, I'm really happy with this total because having at least $6,000 in the account, especially in 4 days, is what I'm looking for with my XFAs. Having that initial goal of 6,000 in my XFAs has led to me employing a strategy where I take out profits weekly with my Topstep XFAs. This payout strategy has led to me making over $12,000 this month. Be on the lookout for an upcoming video in the next few days or weeks with my payout strategy, where maybe you can mirror this strategy and make similar profits too. We are only $2,500 away from passing this combine, and I'm really starting to see light at the end of this tunnel. Maybe we'll reach that goal of 9,000 in day 5, maybe a few days later, or who knows, maybe it never happens. Only time will tell, so stay tuned and keep watching these videos as we continue this trading diary. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. I can't thank you enough, and I look forward to adding my next video in day 5.